Hello, students. How you doing? I hope everything is going well for you. Um, Today we're going to learn something about a guy named Leonardo da Vinci. Many of you have probably heard of him, but he's an amazing guy. And this whole Renaissance period is an amazing period, and I wish I was there to teach you. So we'll have to do it remotely. But Leonardo da Vinci was called the Renaissance Man. Not just a Renaissance man, but the Renaissance man, because he was a man of many talents. Now, before you watch this slideshow, please do the Ed puzzle and then come back to this. All right? And then we'll check out some slides. Bye. All right, welcome back. I hope you like the Ed puzzle. And it's kind of a quirky little video, but I thought it had some good information. So let's check these out. I'm going to be kind of quick with these. This says watch Leonardo Ed puzzle video and answer the questions first. You'll find it in Google Classroom. He was called a Renaissance man. Why? I'm not going to read through all this, but I will say this. He wasn't just an artist, sculptor, architect, scientist, engineer, inventor, but he was an amazing artist, sculptor, architect, scientist, engineer, and inventor. He would make paintings that people would talk about and still do, and people recognize them all around the world. He wasn't just a scientist, architect, engineer, and inventor. He was creating things that were hundreds of years ahead of their time. He was creating stuff that we didn't even have materials to make what he wanted to make them into and make them work. So it would literally be hundreds of years before they could even be created. So he's quite an amazing guy. This is a self-portrait of him. The Mona Lisa. Many of you have heard of the Mona Lisa. Many of you have seen this painting. Many of you might wonder, why the heck is it such a big deal? Now, one of the questions is, who was it? And some people say it was a housewife, okay? And some people say it was because of she looks so realistic. Some people say she looks so realistic, no matter where you are in the room, she's looking at you. It's weird. Check it out. Some people question, like, where did the roads go behind her? All kinds of stuff. So there's a lot of different reasons. This was, she was an example of how they like to balance their paintings during the Renaissance. So they almost had like a triangle shape to them. So they would lay it out in kind of a way that it would have this balance to it. I don't know why the box is not coming up, but it will. Fun fact, her lack of eyebrows. Women during this period would shave them off. It was considered fashionable to do so. So anyway, there it is. I didn't lie. The layout of the painting, subjects during the Renaissance were balanced in the shape of a triangle. So she may be looking at you right now. It's funny, too, because people would make jokes about her and parodies of her. And I thought this was going to be an amazing, it was an amazing painting. But when I went to France, to the Louvre, to see it, it's actually only about the size of a piece of binder paper. And there's tons of people crowded around it. But look at, people have used her as examples through lots of history. Lots of weird paintings of her. But one of the other things that was kind of interesting is that somebody scanned the Mona Lisa into a computer, and then they got the idea to scan Da Vinci's face. And guess what they found? What they found is there was more than a 90% match between his self-portrait and her. So some people thought maybe he just did a self-portrait and he was just being a cross-dresser. Who knows? Just kind of interesting. Here's the Last Supper, and you can see this looks very 3D. This was right after Jesus said, hey, one of you will betray me. And so you can see emotion. You can see anger. You can see fear. Like, who will it be? And so they're all talking. Now, it's very realistic, and you can see the 3D because the background, you can see out the windows. You can also see that Jesus is pointing to the bread and the wine because he's about to be crucified. And The other thing that you can also see is all that's realistic. The thing that's not realistic is they're all on the same side. If you had a dinner party, not everybody would be on the same side. You can also see how the perspective all focuses on Jesus' face. He is the most important thing right there. And you can see the lines here, the vertical and horizontal, all point at him. Okay, and you can see all kinds of geometry in this painting. That wasn't accidental. This is when it's cleaned up, and you can see the brightness of it. He was also a sculptor. He was also an architect. He was also a city planner. He also was a great artist of looking inside the body. And his paintings and drawings were so accurate, they used those in biology books for hundreds of years until they came up with something more like pictures. But he was amazing. You can see all the design. Now, why would he do this? He would study the human body because he wanted to be able to paint people very realistically. Okay? He was an inventor. He came up with the one on the top right is like a tank. The one in the bottom is like a helicopter, hundreds of years ahead of its time. The gig mill was also used with wool. Man can fly, okay? And I actually have a mini little plane that I would show you in my classroom that looks just like this. Right here, he also came up with things for moving water, for dams, all kinds of stuff. Now, what are you going to do? What you're going to do is you are going to go ahead and you are going to create a match.com, not online, but on this paper, which you'll find in your Google Classroom, and you can drag a picture in there to make him look really suave or whatever. You're going to do a dating profile for Leonardo da Vinci. So you're going to write Leonardo da Vinci there. And then the other thing you're going to do is you're going to put things he liked, things he didn't like. And they can be funny, they can be humorous. Final thoughts. This might be one more thing that says, I'm going to decide that I want to go out on a date with this guy. Okay? Or I'm going to want to hang out with him as a good friend. Yes, he was famous, but you want to show that he's interesting. So what you're going to do is use the video that you've watched, use the slides and what I've talked about, and there's an extra video after this if you want to watch it. I think it's a good video. It's only 5 more minutes. But this is something that you're going to do. And I'm also going to give you until Friday to get this done. You won't have anything else besides this except for a question of the day on Thursday. And I keep saying But you also need to make sure that your China portfolio is done, okay, as soon as possible, because that will actually go into your grade. All right. Thank you very much. Hope you guys have a good time.